Hare Krishna, praise the Lord, and Hare Shri Bhagavad.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Standard Pram Jai Shla Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakamalам Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पाञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतां स्वाकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनारित्यन्तस्तोय भद्राणि विदुनुति सुहृत्सतां नस्तप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भागवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the person of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the person of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the person of Godhead who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol. So we continue from text 20, 5.3.20. Who would like to read? Is there anyone who can read? Text number 20. Barhishi tasminneva Vishnudatta Bhagavan Paramarshibhi Parashadito Nabe Priya Chikirshayata Avarodayane Meru Devyam Dharman Darshayitu Kamo Vatarashananam Shramananam Rishinam Urdhvamantinam Suklaya Tanuva Tanuvavata Tanuvavatara. Parhishin, the Erin of sacrifice, Tashmin, that Eva, in this way. Vishnudatta, Maharaj Parikshit, Bhagavan, the Supreme Person of Godhead, Paramarishi, by the great rishis, Prashadita, being pleased, Nabe, Priya Chikitshaya, to please King Nabi, that Avarodayane in his wife, Merudevi, Dharman, the principles of religion, Darshayitu, Kama, desiring to exhibit how to perform, Vatarashananam, of the sannyasis who have almost no clothes. Shramananam, of the Vanaprashtas, Rishinam, of the great sages, Urdvamantinam, of the Brahmacharis, Shuklayatanuva, in his original spiritual form, which is above the modes of material nature. Avatatara appeared as an incarnation. Translation. O Vishnudatta, Parikshit Maharaj, the Supreme Person of Godhead, was pleased by the great sages at that sacrifice. Consequently, the Lord decided to personally exhibit the method of executing religious principles as observed by brahmacharis, sannyasis, vanaprashtas, and grihastas engaged in rituals, and also satisfy Maharaj Nabi's desire. Consequently, he appeared as the son of Meru Devi in his original spiritual form, which is above the modes of material nature. Purport. When the Supreme Lord appears or descends as an incarnation within this material world, he does not accept a body made of three modes of material nature, sattva, guna, rajoguna, tamoguna. Mayavadi philosophers say that the impersonal God appears in this material world by accepting a body in the sattva guna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that the word Shukla means consisting of Suddha Sattva. Lord Vishnu descended in his Shuddha Sattva form. Shuddha Sattva refers to the Sattva Guna which is never contaminated. In this material world, even the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, is contaminated by tinges of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. When Sattva Guna is never contaminated by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, it is called Shuddha Sattva. Sattvam Visuddham Vasudevam Shabditam 4.3.23. That is the platform of Vasudeva, whereby the Supreme Person of Godhead Vasudeva can be experienced. In Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutananam adharmasya tadatmananam srijam yaham. Whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Unlike ordinary living entities, the Supreme Lord is not forced by the modes of material nature to appear. He appears dharman darshayitu kama, to show how to execute the function of a human being. The word dharma is meant for human beings, and this is never used in connection with beings inferior to human beings, such as animals. Unfortunately, without being guided by the Supreme Lord, human beings sometimes manufacture a process of dharma by concussion. Actually, dharma cannot be made by man. Dharmantu Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam 6.3.19. Dharma is given by the Supreme Person of Godhead, just as the law is given by the state government. Man-made dharma has no meaning. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam refers to man-made dharma as Kaitava dharma, cheating religion. The Supreme Lord sends an avatar incarnation to teach human society the proper way to execute religious principles. Such religious principles are Bhakti Marga. As the Supreme Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Parijagya Mamekam Sharanam Braja, the son of Maharaj Nabi Risabdeva appeared to this earth to preach the principles of religion that will be explained in the 5th chapter of this 5th canto. Present the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 5th canto, 3rd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Rishabdeva's appearance in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Nabi. Ribol, Hare Krishna, Prabhu Standard Pram, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept number of businesses of grace, Srila Prabhu.
You want to read, Prabhu? Or anyone?
No problem, Prabhu.
Ribol, yes, Prabhu.
I just want to do this. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat to all of you, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept number of businesses of grace to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Shubham Prabhu Standard Pram, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Am I reading from there, Prabhu?
in this chapter,
Yes, Prabhu.
right? Where is the Sanskrit? Or is it different now?
No, it's a new chapter.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. But I won't read for long.
Yes, Prabhu.
Haribo. Chapter 4, the characteristics of Rishabhadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this chapter, Rishabhadev, the son of Maharaj Nabi, begot 100 sons, and during the reign of those sons, the world was very happy in all respects. When Rishabhadev appeared as the son of Maharaj Nabi, he was appreciated by the people as the most exalted and beautiful personality of that age. His poise, influence, strength, enthusiasm, bodily luster, and other transcendental qualities were beyond compare. The word Rishaba refers to the best or the supreme due to the super excellent attributes of the son of Maharaj Nabi. The king named his son Rashaba or the best. His influence was incomparable. Although there was a scarcity of rain, Rishabdev did not care for Indra, the king of heaven, who is in charge of supplying rain. Through his own potency, Rishabdev sumptuously covered Ajanaba with ample rain. Upon receiving Rishabdev, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as his son, King Nabi began to raise him very carefully. After that, can you zoom in a little bit, Prabhu? I can see him pinching my eyes here. Began to, okay, yes, where was I? Began to raise him very carefully. After that, he entrusted the ruling power to him, and retiring from family life, lived at Badarika Sharama. Badraika Sharama. Completely engaged in the worship of Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord. To follow social customs, Lord Rishabhadev for a while became a student in the Gurukula. And after returning, he followed the orders of his spiritual and accepted his guru and accepted a wife named Jayanti, who had been given to him by the king of heaven, Indra. He begot 100 sons in the womb of Jayanti. Of these 100 sons, the eldest was known as Bharat. Since the region of Maharaj Bharata, this planet has been called Bharatvarsha. Rishabdev's other sons were headed by Kushavarata, Ilavrata, Brahmavarata, Malaya, Ketu, Bharadarasena, Indra, Sparak, Vidarbha, Prabhuda, Pipalayana, Avirotra, Durmila, Chamasa, and Karambajana. Instead of ruling the kingdom, these 9 became mendicant preachers of Krishna consciousness, following the religious precepts of the Bhagavatam. Their characteristics and activities are described in the I thought they're gonna mention the whole 100 names. 11th Canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. During the talks between Vasudeva and Narada at Kurukshetra to teach the general populace, King Rashaba performed many sacrifices and taught his sons how to rule the citizens. Wow, there was a conversation between Vasudeva and Narada in the Kurukshetra. Need to find the story. Shri Sukha Uvacha Atha Tam Upataiva Bivaya Jamana Bangaval Lakshanam Samyopashama Vairagyaish Varya Mahavibhutebi Anudinam Edamananubhavam Prakritaya Praja Brahmana Devataschaivani Tala Samavanaya Titaram Jagadguru Jagrad. Synonym Shri Sukha Uvacha. Shri Sukadev Goswami said, Ataha, Thus, after the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared, tam him utpatya, from the beginning of his appearance ever, even Abhivayajamana, distinctly manifested Bhagavat Lakshanam, processing the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Samya, equal to everyone, Upashama, completely peaceful, in control of the senses and mind, Vairagyam, renunciation, Aishvarya, opulences, Mahavibhu. Oh, Prabhu, you are going with the Lamborghini speed. Vibhuti, Vibhuti, be he with great attributes, Anu Dinam, day after day, Edamana, in seizing Anu Bhavam, his power, Prakritayaha, the ministers, Prakjaha, the citizens, Brahmanaha, the learned scholars in full knowledge of Brahman, Devataha, the demigods, Cha, and Avanitala, the surface of the globe, Samavanaya, to rule, Atitaram, greatly, Jagrad-guru, is it Jagadguru? Jagradu, desired. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, as soon as the Lord was born as the son of Maharaj Nabi, he manifested symptoms of the Supreme Lord, such as marks on the bottoms of his feet, the flag, thunderbolt, etc. This son was equal to everyone and very peaceful. He could control his senses and his mind, and possessing all opulence, he did not hanker for material enjoyment. Endured with all these attributes, the son of Maharaj Nabi became more powerful day after day. Due to this, the citizens, learned Brahmanas, demigods, and ministers wanted Rishabh Dev to be appointed a ruler of the earth. Purport: in these days of cheap incarnations, it is very interesting to note the bodily symptoms found in an incarnation. From the very beginning of his birth, it was observed that Rishabh Dev's feet were marked with the transcendental signs, a flag, thunderbolt, lotus flower, etc. In addition to this, as the Lord began to grow, he became very prominent. He was equal to everyone. He did not favor one person and neglect another. An incarnation of God must have the six opulences: wealth, strength, knowledge, beauty, fame, and renunciation. It is said that although Rishabh Dev was endowed with all opulences, he was not at all attached to material enjoyment. He was self-controlled and therefore liked by everyone. Due to his super excellent qualities, everyone wanted him to rule the earth. An incarnation of God has to be accepted by experienced people and by the symptoms described in the Shastras. An incarnation is not accepted simply by the adulation of foolish people. Adulation. First time seeing that word, adulation. It's like adult and shin. It's like you are grown up, but then using a toddler's mind. Adulation. Text 2, before I become Sai Baba. Semi Prabhu. Tasyaha va itaham varashamana variyasya brahak cholekena chaujasam balena sriya yashas virya shauraya bayam chapita rashab itidam nama chakara. Oh, not chakra. Synonyms: tasya, of him, ha, va, certainly, itam, thus, varashamana, by the bodily features, vair yasam, most exalted, brahat sholokena, decorated with all the high qualities described by poets. Cha also, ujasa, by prowess, balena, by strength, shriyam, by beauty, yash, Asa, by fame, Virya, Sham, Urya, Bayam, by influence and heroism, Cha, and Pita, the father. Maharaj Nabi Rashab the best, iti thus, idam this nama name Chakara gave. Translation. Ma'am, Ntakas electricity. Hey. Translation. When the son of Maharaj Nabi became visible, he evinced. Is it evinced all good qualities described by the great poets, namely a well-built body with all the symptoms of their Godhead, prowess, strength, beauty, name, fame, influence, and enthusiasm. When the father Maharaj Nabi saw all these qualities, he thought his son to be the best of human beings or the supreme being. Therefore, he gave him the name Rashab. Purport to accept someone as God or an incarnation of God, one must observe the symptoms of God in his body. All the symptoms were found in the body of Maharaj Nabi's extraordinarily powerful man. His body was well structured and he displayed all the transcendental qualities. He showed great influence and he could control his mind and senses. Consequently, he was named Rashaba, which indicates that he was the supreme living being. Yasya Hindraha Spardamano Bhagavan Varshe Navavarsha Tad Avadaraya Bhagavan Rashaba Devo Yogeshvaraha Prahasya Atma Yogamaya Swavaramsham Ajana Bamnabaya Varshat Yasya of whom, synonyms, Yasya of him, of whom, he indeed Indriyaha, King Indra of heaven, Sparda Hamanaha, being envious, Bhagavan, very opulent, Varshe, on Bharat Varsha, na Vavarsha, did not pour water that Avadaraya, knowing Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rashaba Devaha, Rishab Dev, Yoga Ishvaraha, the master of all mystic power, Parahasya, smiling, Atma Yoga Mayaya, by his own spiritual potencies, Varsham, on his place, Ajanaba, Nama named Abhyavarshat, he poured water. Can go down, Prabhu. Translation. Indra, the king of heaven, who is very materially opulent, became envious of King Rashab Dev. Consequently, he stopped pouring water on the planet known as Bharatvarsha. At the time, the Supreme Lord Rashab Dev, the master of all mystic power, understood King Indra's purpose and smiled a little. Then by his own prowess through Yogamaya, his internal potency, he profusely poured water upon his own place, which was known as Ajanaba. Purport, we find the word Bhagavan used twice in this verse. Both King Indra and Rashab Dev, the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, are described as Bhagavan. Sometimes Narada and Lord Brahma are also addressed as Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan means that one is a very opulent and powerful person like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narada, or Indra. They are all addressed as Bhagavan due to their extraordinary opulence. King Rashab Dev is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and therefore he was the original Bhagavan. Consequently, he is described herein as Yogeshvara, which indicates that he has the most powerful spiritual potency. He is not dependent on King Indra for water. He can supply water himself, and he did so in this case. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Yagnat Bhavati Parjanayaha. Due to the performance of Yagna, clouds of waters are manifest in the sky. Clouds and rainfall are under the management of Indra, the heavenly king. But when Indra is neglectful, then the Supreme Lord himself, who is also known as Yagna or Yagnapati, takes the task upon himself. Consequently, there was sufficient rainfall in the place named Ajanaba. When Yagnapati wants to he can do anything without the help of any subordinate. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is known as Almighty. In the present age of Kali, oh, Prabhu, where are you going? Of Kali, there will eventually be a great scarcity of water, anavrishti, for the general populace due to ignorance and the scarcity of yagnic ingredients will neglect Prabhu above to perform neglect. I was at neglect, Prabhu. I don't see it now. Neglect to perform yagna. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam therefore advises yagnai sankirtana prayai yajanati yajanti he sumer dasaha. After all, yagna is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let me just charge my phone. Okay, of Godhead. Where was I now? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this age of Kali, there is great scarcity and ignorance. Nonetheless, everyone can perform Sankirtan Yagna. Every family in every society can conduct Sankirtan Yagna at least every day. In this way, there will be no disturbances or scarcity of rain. It is essential for the people in the age of It is essential for the people in this age to perform the Sankirtan Yagna in order to be materially happy and to advance spiritually. Yeah, I think I'll read the last one, Prabhu. I still need to do some, I think I'm going to do Ekadeshi Prasad. Did you cook Semi Prabhu today?
Not yet, Prabhu. I'm doing it now.
Oh, you're doing it. You haven't eaten anything, right?
No, Prabhu. I'm just boiling potatoes.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Yeah, same as me. Actually, Prabhu, in the morning, I drank water by, what do you call this, forgetfulness, you know?
Yes, that's fine.
Like yeah, in the morning, I was like, I forgot. But then actually, I think I was disturbed because it's like I was telling my body yesterday that yesterday we are fasting, you know, because I thought yesterday was fasting, you know? And
Yes,
then
Prabhu.
halfway through, yeah, and then I asked you, oh, hey, what's happening, you know? Yeah. Okay. Nabistu yata bilashitam suprajastvam avarudayati paramoda bara vihavalo gada ksharaya gira swairam girita naraloka sadaramam Bhagavatam Purana Purusham Maya Vilasita Mati Vatsa Tateti Etateti Sanugram Upalalayan Param Nivirti Upagataha. This is singable, but I don't have the tune. Nabi, King Nabi, tu certainly yata abi lashitam, according to his desire, suprajastwam, the most beautiful son, avarudayam, getting ati pramoda, of great jubilation, bara, by an excess havalaha, being overwhelmed, gada aksharaya, faltering in ecstasy. Gira with a voice, swairam, by his independent will, Gir, Hita, accepted Nara Loka Dharmam, acting as if a human being, Bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purana Purusham, the oldest among living beings, Maya by Yoga Maya, Vilasita, bewildered. Go down, Prabhu. Mati, his mentality, Vata, my dear son, Tata, my darling, Iti, Tasa, Anuragam, with great affection, Upa Lalayan, raising Param transcendental Nirvritim, bliss, Upagataha, achieved Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Says Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Due to getting a perfect son according to his desire, King Nabi was always overwhelmed with transcendental bliss and was very affectionate to his son. It was with ecstasy and flattering voice that he addressed him, "My dear son, my darling." This mentality was brought about by Yoga Maya, whereby he accepted the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, as his own son. Out of his supreme goodwill, the Lord became his son and dealt with everyone as if he were an ordinary human being. Thus, King Nabi began to raise his transcendental son with great affection, and he was overwhelmed with transcendental bliss, joy, and devotion. Purport: the word Maya is used in the sense of illusion, considering the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be his own son. Maharaj Nabi was certainly in illusion, but this was transcendental illusion. This illusion is required. Otherwise, how can one accept the Supreme Father as his own son? The Supreme Lord appears as the son of one of his devotees. Just as Lord Krishna appeared as the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, these devotees could never think of their son as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for such appreciation would hamper their relationship of paternal love. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Someone else can read.
I can read to
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Haribol.
next line. Nītāṅgāgam apauro yapriti jarapado rajanabhiratmayam samaya setu rakshayam abhishya brahmaneshu panitaya saha merudevya vishalayam prasanna nipunena tapasa samadhi yogena nara yanaka yanakyam bhagavantam vasudevam upasina kalena tanmahimanam vapa. Synonyms: Vidita, known very well; Anuragam, popularity; Apaura Prakriti, among all the citizens and government officers; Janapada, desiring to serve the people in general; Raja, the king; Nabi, Atmajam, his son; Samaya Setu Rakshayam, to protect the people strictly according to the Vedic principles and of religious life; Abhishya, enthroning; Brahmaneshu, the learned Brahmanas; Panidhaya, Upanidhaya, entrusting; Sahar, with; Merudevya, his wife Merudevi; Vishalayam, in Badrikasana; Prasanna Nipunena, performed with great satisfaction and expertise; Tapasa, by austerities and penance; Samadhi Yogena, by full Samadhi; Naranarayanakyam, named Naranarayana; Bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of God; Vasudevan, Krishna; Upasina, Sina, worshipping; Kalena, in due course of time; Tatmahimanam, is glorious abode, the spiritual world Vaikuntha; Avapa, achieved. Translation purport by Swami Verses Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: King Nabi understood that his son Vishuddha was very popular among the citizens and among government officers and ministers. Understanding the popularity of his son, Maharaj Nabi enthroned him as the emperor of the world, to give protection to the general populace in the terms of the Vedic religious system. To do this, he entrusted him into the hands of learned Brahmanas, who would guide him in administrating the government. Then Maharaj Nabi and his wife Meru Devi went to Badrikashrama in the Himalayan mountains, where the king engaged himself very expertly in austerities and penances with great jubilation. In full samadhi, he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, who is Krishna in his plenary expansion. By doing so, in course of time, Maharaj Nabi was elevated to the spiritual world known as Vaikuntha. But When Maharaj Nabil saw that his son Rishabdev was popular with the general populace and the government servants, he chose to install him on the imperial throne. In addition, he wanted to entrust his son into the hands of the learned Brahmanas. This means that a monarch was supposed to govern strictly according to the Vedic principles under the guidance of learned Brahmanas, who could advise him according to the standard Vedic scriptures like Manusmriti and similar Shastras. It is the duty of the king to rule the citizens according to Vedic principles. According to Vedic principles, society is divided into four categories: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Chaturvaranyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagacha. After dividing society in this way, it is the king's duty to see that everyone executes Vedic principles according to his caste. A Brahmana must perform the duty of a Brahmana without cheating. You can scroll down. The public. It is not that one attains the name of a Brahmana without the qualifications. It is the king's duty to see that everyone engages in his occupational duty according to Vedic principles. In addition, retirement at the end of life is compulsory. Maharaj Nabi, although still a king, retired from family life and went with his wife to a place called Bhadrashrama in the Himalayas, where the deity Naranarayana is worshipped. The words "prasanna nipunena tapasa" indicate that the king accepted all kinds of austerity very expertly and jubilantly. He did not at all mind leaving his comfortable life at home, although he was the emperor. Despite undergoing severe austerities and penances, he felt very pleased at Bhadrashrama, and he did everything there expertly. In this way, being fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, Samadhi Yoga, always thinking of Krishna Vasudeva, Maharaj Nabi attained success at the end of his life and was promoted to the spiritual world by Kuntaloka. This is the way of Vedic life. One must stop the process of repeated birth and death and return home back to Godhead. The words Tan Mahimanam Avapa are significant in this regard. Srila Sridhar Swami says that Mahima means liberation in this life. We should act in such a way in this life that after giving up this body, we will become liberated from the bondage of repeated birth and death. This is called Jivana Mukti. Sri Veeraraghava Acharya states that in the Chandogya Upanishad there are 8 symptoms of a Jivan Mukta. A person who is already liberated even when living in this body. The first symptom of one so liberated is that he is freed from all sinful activity. Apahata papa. As long as one is under the clutches of Maya and the material energy, one has to engage in sinful activity. Bhagavad Gita describes such peoples as Dushritina, which indicates that they are always engaged in sinful activity. One who is liberated in this life does not commit any sinful activities. Sinful activity involves illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. Another symptom of a liberated person is vijara, which indicates that he is not subjected to the miseries of old age. Another symptom is vimrityu. A liberated person prepares himself in such a way that he does not take on any more material bodies which are destined to die. In other words, he does not fall down again to repeated birth and death. Another symptom is Vishoka, which indicates that he is calm. Another is Gatsa, which indicates that he no longer desires material enjoyment. Another symptom is apipata, which means that he has no desire other than to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, his dear most persuable Lord. A further symptom is satyakama, which indicates that all his desires are directed to the Supreme Truth Krishna. He does not want anything else. He is Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he desires is fulfilled by the grace of Krishna. First of all, he does not desire anything for his material benefit, and secondly, if he desires anything at all, he simply desires to serve the Supreme Lord. That desire is fulfilled by the Lord's grace. That is called Satya Sankalpa. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that the word Mahima means returning to the spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead, back to Vaikuntha. Sri Shukadeva says that the word Mahima means that the devotee attains the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Sadharma, or the same quality. Just as Krishna is never born and never dies, his devotees who return to Godhead never die and never take birth within the material world. Text 6. यस्यः पाण्डवेया श्लोक उदाहरन्ति को नु तत्कर्म राजर्षिर्नाभेरन्वाचरेत् पुमान् अपात्यत्तम् अगत्यस्य हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा yasya of whom are indeed Pandaveya, O Maharaj Parikshit, Shlokau, 2 verses, Udaharanti, recite, Kaha, who, no, then, Tat, that, Karma, work, Rajarshi, of the pious king, Nave, Nabi, Anu, following, Acharit, could execute, Uman, a man, Apatyatam, sonhood, Agat, accepted, Yasya, whose, Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shuddhena, pure executed in devotional service, Karmana, by activities. Translation. Translation. O Maharaj Parikshit, to glorify Maharaj Nabi, the old sages composed 2 verses. One of them is, who can attain the perfection of Maharaj Nabi? Who can attain his activities? Because of his devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead agreed to become his son. Purport. The words Shuddhena Karmana are significant in this verse. If work is not carried out in devotional service, it is contaminated by the modes of material nature. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Yajñarthat karmano netra lokoyam karma bandhana. Activities performed only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord are pure and are not contaminated by the modes of material nature. All other activities are contaminated by the modes of ignorance and passion as well as goodness. All material activities for satisfying the senses are contaminated, and Maharaj Nabi did not perform anything contaminated. He simply executed his transcendental activities, even when performing yajna. Consequently, he obtained the Supreme Lord as his son. Text 7. ब्राह्मण्योऽन्य कुतो नाभेद पुत्र मङ्गलपूजिता यस्य बर्हिषि यज्ञेषां दर्शयम् असुरि ओजसा Brahmanya, a devotee of the Brahmanas, Anya, any other, Kuta, where is Nave besides Maharaj Navi, Vipra, the Brahmanas, Mangal Pujita, well worshipped and satisfied, Yasya of whom, Barhishi, in the sacrificial arena, Yajnesham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies. Darshayam, Asu, Ashur, Ojasa, or by their Brahminical prowess. Translation. The second prayer is this: He who is better worshipper of Brahmanas than Maharaj Nabi, because he worshipped the qualified Brahmanas to their full satisfaction. The Brahmanas, by their Brahminical prowess, showed Maharaj Nabi the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana in person. Purport: The Brahmanas engaged as priests in the sacrificial ceremony were not ordinary Brahmanas. They were so powerful that they could bring forth the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their prayers. Thus, Maharaj Nabi was able to see the Lord face to face. Unless one is a Vaishnava, he cannot call forth the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord does not accept an invitation unless one is a Vaishnava. Therefore, it is said in Padma Puran, Satkarma Nipuno Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharada Avaishnavo Guru Nasyat Vaishnava Sapacho Guru. A scholarly Brahmana, expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnava. But a person born in the family of lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnava. The Brahmanas were certainly very expert in chanting the Vedic mantras. They were competent in the performance of the Vedic rituals, and over and above this, they were Vaishnavas. Therefore, by their spiritual powers, they could call on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and enable their disciple Maharaj Nabi to see the Lord face to face. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comments that the word Ojasa means by dint of devotional service. Text 8. अतः भगवान् ऋषभदेव स्ववर्षं कर्मक्षेत्रम् अनुमन्यमान प्रदर्शित गुरुकुलवसो लब्धावैर्गुरुभिर् अनुज्ञातो ग्रामेदिनं धर्मम् अनुशिक्षमाणो जयन्त्यम् इन्द्र दत्तयम् उभय लक्षणं कर्म यमनम् यमन्नाथम् अभुञ्जन् अतिमञ्जनम् आत्मसम्माननं सत्तं जनयम् asa. Synonyms: Atha, thereupon, after the departure of his father. Ha, indeed, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishabhadeva, Swa, his own, Varsham, kingdom, Karmakshetram, the field of activities, Anumanyamana, accepting as Pradarshita, shown as an example, Guru Kulavasa, lived at the Gurukula, Labdhva, having achieved Varai gifts, Gurubi, by the spiritual masters, Anunata, being ordered, Grahamedina, of the householders, Dharman, duties, Anush, Anushikshamana, teaching by example, Jayantam, in his wife, Jayanti, Indra Dattaya, offered by Lord Indra, Ubhaya Lakshanam, of both types karma activities, Samam Nayam Atnatam, mentioned in the scriptures, Abhyunjan performing Atma Janam, sons, Atma Sammananam, exactly like himself, Satan 100, Janayam Asa. We got translation. After Nabi Maharaj departed for Badrikashram, the Supreme Lord Rishabdev understood that his kingdom was his field of activities. He therefore showed himself as an example and taught the duties of a householder by first accepting brahmacharya under the direction of spiritual masters. He also went to live at the spiritual master's place, Gurukula. After his education was finished, he gave gifts, Guru Dakshina, to his spiritual masters and then accepted the life of a householder. He took a wife named Jayanti and begot 100 sons who were as powerful and as qualified as he himself. His wife Jayanti had been offered to him by Indra, the king of heaven. His wife Jayanti lit up provide the infinity translation. Hare Krishna Sadhu.
What, Prabhu? It was cutting.
I didn't finish the translation of was in the middle, a little bit up. Begot 100 sons who were as powerful and as qualified as he himself. His wife Jayanti had been offered to him by Indra, the king of heaven. Rishabdev and Jayanti performed household life in an exemplary way, carrying out ritualistic activities ordained by the Shruti and Smriti Shastra. Sorry, what? Being an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishabdev had nothing to do with the material affairs. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chidusmitam, the purpose of an incarnation is to liberate his devotees and to stop the demoniac activities of non-devotees. There are two functions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that in order to preach, one must live a practical life and show people how to do things. Apani achar bhakti shikhaimu sabare. One cannot teach others unless he behaves the same way himself. Rishabdev was an ideal king, and he took his education in the Gurukula. Although he was already educated because the Supreme Lord is omniscient. Although Rishabdev had nothing to learn from Gurukul, he went there just to teach the people in general how to take an education from the right source, from Vedic teachers. He then entered householder life, lived according to the principles of Vedic knowledge, Shruti and Smriti. In his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.10, Srila Rupa Goswami, quoting the Skanda Purana, states, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikante ke Harer Bhakte Utpatayeva Kalpate. Human society must follow the instructions received from Shruti and Smriti Vedic literature. Practically applied in life, this is worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the Pancharatriki Vidhi. Every human being must advance his spiritual life and at the end return home back to Godhead. Maharaj Rishabdev strictly followed all these principles. He remained an ideal grihastha, and taught his sons how to become perfect in spiritual life. These are some examples of how he ruled the earth and completed his mission as an incarnation. Text 9. येषां खलु महान् योगी भारतो ज्येष्ठा श्रेष्ठा गुण असिद्येनिदं वर्षं भारतम् इति व्यापादिशन्ति Yesham of whom Kalu, indeed, Mahayogi, a very highly exalted devotee of the Lord, Bharata, Jyeshtha, the eldest, Shrestha Guna, qualified with best attributes, Asit was Yena by whom Idam this version planet Bharata, iti this Vyapadi Shanti people called. Translation of Rishabhadev's 100 sons, the eldest, named Bharata, was a great exalted devotee, qualified with the best attributes. In his honor, this planet has become known as Bharatavarsha. Purport: This planet, known as Bharatavarsha, is also called Punyabhumi, the pious land. At the present moment, Bharatabhumi or Bharatavarsha is a small piece of land extending from the Himalayan mountains to Cape Comorin. Sometimes this peninsula is called Punyabhumi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given special importance to the people of this land. Bharatabhumite Bhajana Srimyar Janma Sarthaka Karaparopkar. One who has taken birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 9.41. The inhabitants of this piece of land are very fortunate. They can purify their existence by accepting this Krishna consciousness movement and go outside the Bharat Bhumi, India, and preach this cult to benefit the whole world. Text 10. Tam anu kushavarta ilavarto brahmavarto malayaketur bhadrasena indrasprit vidarbha kikata iti navanava kushavarta brahmavarta malaya ketu bhadrasena indrasprit vidarbha kikata iti thus navati 90 pradhana older than. Translation: Following Bharata, there were 99 other sons. Among these were 9 elderly sons named Kushavarta, Ilavrita, Brahmavarta, Malaya, Ketu, Bhadrasena, Indrasprit, Vidarbha, and Text. Kavir अंतरिक्ष प्रबुद्धा पिप्पलयना अविर्होत्रोऽथ धूर्मिलश्चंसा करभाजना इति भगवतधर्मदर्शन नवमहाभगवतस्तेषां सुचरितां भगवान् महिमोपाबृंहितं वासुदेवनारदसंवादम् उपसमायनम् उपरिष्टवर्णनैः कवि हवि अंतरिक्ष प्रबुद्ध पिप्पलयन Avirhotra, Atha also Durmila, Chamsha, Tramsha. Kara Karabhajana Karabhajana Karavajana. Iti thus Bhagavata Dharma Darshina authorized preachers of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Nava 9. Maha Bhagavata highly advanced devotees Tesham of them Sucharitam good characteristics Bhagavat Mahima Upabhim Itam, accompanied by the glories of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva Narada Samvadam, with the conversation between Vasudeva and Narada, Upasamayanam, which gives full satisfaction to the mind, Uparistat, hereafter in the 11th canto, Varna Ishyamana, I shall vividly explain. Translation. In addition to the sons were Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Durmila, Chamsha, and Karnabhajana. These were all very exalted, advanced devotees and authorized preachers of Srimad Bhagavatam. These devotees were glorified due to their strong devotion to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they were very exalted. To satisfy the mind perfectly, I, Shukdev Goswami, shall hereafter describe the characteristics of these 9 devotees when I discuss the conversation between Narada and Vasudeva. Thank you, Prabhu.
Tribal. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, now we go to 6 Astakam prayer. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadujivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Namnamakari Baudani Jasarva Shakti Statrarpitanyamita Smaranena Kalaha Eta Trishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mama Pe Dorodaiva Metrishamahajina Narakra
Trinata Pisani, Jena Tarora Pisani, Vaishnana, Amanina Manavina, Kirtaniya Sudahari.
Adanam na janam na sundarim kavitam vachagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhaktirahai tukhi tvayi.
दैनन्दतनुजकिङ्करम् पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुदौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज चितधूलि सदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं गदश्रुधारया वदनं गदगदऋतया गिरा तदप्रेतनिचितं वपुकथातपनामग्रहणे भविष्यति.
Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravirshaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me.
अश्लिष्टवातादरितां तनुष्टमाम् अदर्शनामरमातां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा वदतातुलं ततो मत्प्राणनाथस्य च एव नापरः.
Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of your kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the Hare Krishna mantra, holy name of Lord constantly. O Almighty
O
Lord, I have
Almighty
no desire. Yes, Prabhu, you can speak, Prabhu.
No, Prabhu, you can speak.
Okay, Prabhu. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
You can continue, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain. So even if he handles me roughly in his embrace, or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me, he is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.
Shri Shikshastakam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
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 Bahujanma kare yadi shravana kirtana, tabutana praya Krishna pade premadana. If one is interested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Should I continue, Prabhu, or somebody wants to? Hare Krishna, Prabhu, is my voice audible?
Yes, Prabhu. You can read.
Okay. Second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master or to think of him as an ordinary person. Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth offense is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to by imagination. Sixth offense is to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Eighth offense is to commit sin. Eighth offense is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as good activities karma kanda. Ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. And tenth offense is to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success Krishna praying. Now, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like these arteries and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls.
पञ्चकोटिरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
Patithanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava Namo Namah